This your boy Sean, aka Puff Comics 83, and we are back. That's right, folks. We are back. After a 2-week hiatus, after WrestleMania just broke our backs, we are back and better than ever. I'm joined by my co-host, Varangian Vigilante. How are you doing, sir?
Well, we took off 2 weeks, we went on a hiatus, and still we didn't went as long as of a WrestleMania hiatus than The Rock did.
Oh man. It felt like the 3 weeks of us talking WrestleMania, all the history of WrestleMania was better than this year's WrestleMania overall.
Oh boy, that was something.
It was, man. It was. But yes, I am glad we are back. You know, I will admit, I was getting a bit complacent. I was getting lazy. I was like, you know what, man? Fridays I've been getting a little bit more better sleep. I was like, I don't know if I want to return or not. And then when you hit me up, I was like, the first time when you hit me up last week, I was like, nah, I wasn't prepared. Plus, I had something to do on Friday, so I couldn't really do anything. And then I thought in my mind, I was like, shit, you know what, man? It's been a while since I watched some Dolph Lundgren movies. And then Showdown in Little Tokyo popped up in my mind. I was like, oh, we could do some Brandon Lee movies as well. And I was excited. I typed you up a message like, yo, we can talk this, that, and the third on those two guys. And you like, oh, they're not available for streaming and they're hard to find anywhere over here. I was like, oh.
Yeah. I'm gonna be on the lookout for the next time they're like on a good sale, like on Blu-ray. I'm gonna get them, but they need to be in my collection anyway. But it's like, fuck, I don't have those in my collection.
I know, man. And streaming does a disservice when it comes to movies that are
good movies.
Yeah, decent movies, but they're not available on streaming. And that's one of the flaws of streaming is that they don't have everything.
Yeah.
And one movie in particular that I still want to get to, because we're going to talk Jean-Claude Van Damme today with Kickboxer, but the Universal Soldier movies.
Yeah, it's so crazy because I didn't have it in my collection because I didn't like the first one. When I watched it as a teenager, like I thought it was boring. I also think that Emmerich is a shitty director.
Oh, true. But I do like Dolph Lundgren's performance in it and his heel turn and him just going completely psycho towards the end. Yeah. Plus he had a wicked ass death. Like that death scene in the first Universal Soldier was crazy.
I think I have to rewatch it, but also I was looking. There is no fucking box set with all the Universal Soldiers movies.
Not even the TV movies.
Yeah, it's like because like
plus I don't like Universal Soldier: The Return. But we gotta talk it because Bill Goldberg is in
it. Which this year very well we're gonna witness Bill Goldberg's retirement match, probably against Gunther. Poor Gunther this year, like what they're feeding him is like
they're feeding him shit.
Yeah. But yeah, so at least of course Kickboxer is in my collection because naturally I got most of Jean-Claude Van Damme's filmography, and Kickboxer, or how it is called here, Karate Tiger 3, like Karate Tiger 3, which is funny because Karate Tiger 1 and 2 is no retreat or no surrender.
I know, I was like, what the fuck?
And you know what Karate Tiger either 4 or 5 is?
Which one was
Best of the best.
Oh man!
So here it's like, yeah, it's like
that's crazy.
The distributor was like, all the martial art movies are one franchise.
Yeah, let's tie it into the other franchise.
Which is very funny that Van Damme went from a Russian in No Retreat, No Surrender.
Hey, he can play anything. He was American Guile in Street Fighter, so
yeah,
it worked. One thing about Van Damme is, especially during this time period, like he did the first movie like this and Bloodsport and appeared in none of the sequels. And then Kickboxer had like 4 other sequels after this.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, of course, they're like gems in a certain way. So they're martial art movies. There are no really bad martial art movies.
all fun. And again, it made me like, especially when I watched Kickboxer Vengeance, and I saw that one of the actors in that he passed away shortly after the film, and he was the same actor who fought Ip Man in the second Ip Man movie. As you know, he was the boxer, and I was like, man, now I want to watch the Ip Man films.
Yeah, I also have to watch them. I have to. But yeah, it's Van Damme movie is. Van Damme movie is Van Damme movie is a Van Damme movie.
Yeah.
It's like you can't do no wrong, and I still think that he got very much underestimated in that period. You know, when people just say it's a B movie Schwarzenegger. It's like, what the fuck, no.
I never saw Van Damme as Schwarzenegger. And stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he was completely different. He had the martial arts background, and I love that he can do the action movies and still do the martial arts films.
And he's also, and I absolutely mean that, I think he's somebody who can really portray emotions on screen. With especially like with Lionheart, which is of course like we gotta go talk that one in the future. And I also I absolutely non-apologetically love The Quest.
That's a movie that I will have to revisit because I've only watched that in certain parts. I never watched the full movie because it never really kept my interest. So, and I know Roger Moore's in that film.
He hated it. He hated it.
I know it. Like, yo, John Claude and James Bond. That's an interesting combination. But I will have to revisit that movie to see if I can watch it in full and whether I enjoy it or not enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm a big adventure fan, and having an adventure movie with a martial arts tournament is fantastic. And also, of course, like Bloodsport is so good because Van Damme gave it its all, like also on the cutting table, like he edited that movie. So I think he personally had very early on had like a good sense of how to create like a thrilling action movie with certain elements, with showing plenty of his own butt like in the process.
It's like there's not a Van Damme movie where he doesn't do the split.
Yeah, I mean, if you got it, you gotta flaunt it. Yeah, it's.
And then Kickboxer, he's like, I'm gonna take it back to my breaking days, and I'm gonna show the moves and start dancing. And this is probably the one scene in the film that gets more replays.
Yeah,
than
that's
any scene in it.
Like basically that scene was created for short videos, for reels and TikToks, like.
And I will say that the man who played Tom, Michael Quincy, I hope I butcher his name. He might come and Muay Thai me to death, just by saying his name. But I thought he was amazing, and he was the Muay Thai specialist in Bloodsport.
Exactly.
So for him to be the main villain here and channel his villainy, I thought he was really good, and he was in the sequel Bloodsport 2. I mean, not Kickboxer 2. And then a couple of other Van Damme films.
Yeah, and of course he got recast, I think, for the Kickboxer 4.
Yes.
Yeah, where the character played by somebody else suddenly was like a drug lord.
And I didn't think. I thought Batista
did a fantastic job.
Yeah, I thought he was pretty good as his own version of the same character.
The remake of Kickboxer, the first and the second, I think are very much underrated. I think they carry a lot of the heart from the original, and they also got Van Damme blessing. Like Van Damme is like the teacher in the first one is Mr. Durand, and he plays as fun, and of course like a Quizzy or Kissy. Like he was like a very small cameo in the remake in the prison. It's I think the remakes are way better than the sequels, but I also think they stand very well on their own, and it's already an early showing of how Batista can also show his presence like on a movie screen.
Yeah, I thought Batista really did a great job in that film. And one of the things from the 80s and 90s to what we see in the recent movies is you get to see the mixed martial arts artists in these films. You know, George St. Pierre, Cain Velasquez, Fabricio Verdun, and of course Gina Carano. You know, she didn't even fight in the movie. She was just more like the person setting up the matches and making money off of it. But you know, and then in the 80s, there was another film that I saw, and I was almost about ready to watch that, and it was called King of the Kickboxers, and it's got Billy Blanks in it. And I was like, man, you know, Billy Blanks, Don the Dragon Wilson, Benny the Jet Uquita, and a lot of those guys that was in the kickboxing field or the fighting field, karate fields, they started transitioning to acting.
I do have to say that, you know, as we already talked in the past, that I'm not a big fan of modern mixed martial arts because it became a legitimate sport and it lacks the freak factor and it lacks the guiltiness of watching. Like it's like, you know, back in the day you're watching it and you felt a little bit like you're watching like two gladiators getting on. I mean, wonderful matches where somebody tried to punch somebody out with multiple shots to the balls.
That's that early UFC.
And yet the early UFC, and of course knee to the head on the ground. You know,
I tell people to watch Pancreas, you know, just to see.
Pancreas is so fucking good.
The brutality of those fights.
I just recently watched, of course, Bess Rutten versus Frank Shamrock.
Oh man!
Like, again, like that fucking classic is. I mean, yeah, Bess Rutten. I mean, like
Bas Rutten was at his best when he was in Pancreas.
Yeah,
his UFC stuff is okay, but his best stuff was Pancreas.
Yeah, for a lot of these fighters, UFC first came a little bit too early, and then also was, of course, more tailored towards the Gracies.
The Gracies and the wrestlers, because Dan Severn and those guys. Like, I'll never forget when I watched Dan Severn versus Ken Shamrock. All they was doing was just laying on each other. I'm like, fuck, man. they hyped this shit up to be some type of gladiator battle, and then they do absolutely nothing for the whole fight. I was like, come on.
I still wish that Dan Severn would have shot at the Royal Rumble.
Oh man.
Like he said, like like he said, Winstead.
Dan Severn was too much of a beast, literally, to be in the WWF and actually wrestle.
I do still believe that Dan Severn and of course also later Ken Shamrock were the ones who re-legitimized the NWA title, especially Dan Severn, you know, having it to all his next to his shoot titles made the NWA title like feel important again.
If only this was like the NWA of the 70s, then yeah, he'd be the greatest ever.
Yeah.
Because who's stopping?
I mean, basically that's like, that goes with the history, you know, with Lutez. So basically back in the days, in the early territories, they wanted the title to be on like a shooter, just in case, you know, there's some strange territory, and then like the opponent starts shooting on the champion. Like, he needs to have like all the skills and to put that fucker down for real, like if needed. But yeah, Dan Severn was a fantastic throwback to that. And well, now we're talking about the history.
I know, man.
Of mixed martial arts and wrestling. But yeah, it's I think that the Kickboxer and Kickboxer remix stand very well on their own legs and very well are the best of some of the best like of mixed martial arts within the time period that it came out. Of course, like, I mean, Kickboxer came out like in the final years of the 80s. You still have the fantastic music from the 80s, like all the vibes, but it already had a little bit of the realistic grittiness of the early 90s. So you can really tell like that it's like already a little bit darker, especially like the fight scenes, which of course were choreographed also by Jean-Claude Van Damme. Uh, it's once again, there's a lot of people who just randomly watch martial arts movie would just say, "Oh, this is just like by the numbers martial arts movies," and they're right. However, it's by the numbers done right. It's one of these. It's like this you can watch like on a whole day binge with Bloodsport, with like Best of the Best 2. Like it's just it never gets boring, and it ends exactly when it should end.
And one of the things that I enjoy watching these films is seeing the different styles. And,
Yeah.
We saw some glimpse of Muay Thai and Bloodsport, and then this movie, it's all about Muay Thai. And this film really inspired a lot of the Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Street Fighter, you had Sagat, who I fucking hated as a character because he always did the Tiger Knee and the Tiger Blast. But he was Muay Thai based. And you see Tom Po, and it's like he got the Sagat look in him.
Yeah.
Same with Goro. Even with Extra Arms, they took inspiration from Tom Po. So Muay Thai became a thing with this film, and now more people started to look at it, study it, and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then you got people like in mixed martial arts, like Wanderlei Silva, the axe murderer, doing those Muay Thai knees and knocking people out with them. It's like, damn, this is badass.
Don't try Muay Thai when you're in the ring with a Croatian.
No. But when it's against Rampage Jackson, then it's all game. Because Rampage could not defend it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like this movie introduced that element, that fight style, to the sport, and now people are looking at it and saying, this is like legit. You get a true artist who knows the style, and Jean-Claude Van Damme just tapped into that and said, "Let me make a whole movie based on it."
Heck yeah, it's and what I love about this film, and what I love about a lot of martial art movies, especially in the 80s, and especially in the 80s, is that they still harken back like to the understanding of martial arts that goes back to Count Dante, like, and of course also Frank Dukes, where you have like all these fake martial artists that made up like stories, from the Far East, from the Orient, where basically it's like, hey, yeah, in the US, you're champion in the US, but the true underground is like in Asia. And this is like, this sort of mystery, even back in the days, when I remember, when we were like kids and watching WWE, and it's like, oh, that's nice. But then you heard about like all these match types that were done in Japan, where people say, oh, they're getting electrocuted there, and there's like matches with sharks around the ring, and so basically, this whole myth was about like what happens in Asia. It's like, yeah, wrestling, like here, I think it not might be exactly real, but the stuff in Asia is real.
It's so real that Cactus Jack and Terry Funk saw that and said, "Sign me up."
Yeah, Stan fucking Hansen Vader.
Yeah, they lost some limbs over there doing those type of stiff matches. And of course you got Dr. Death Steve Williams and Bam Bam Terry Gordy going over there and just dropping people on their fucking heads. It's insane what they were doing in those matches in Japan, being very stiff and brutal.
Just like a tip, like if you're somebody like the great Antonio, don't try to no-sell Inoki. Like, I don't.
No. But yeah, like you were saying, like these films, and of course you had the 80s films, you know, whether it's Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, whether it's Chuck Norris, you know, and God forbid, we got to bring it up because people mention his name, Steven Seagal and his Aikido.
Yeah.
But, you know, you just had this renaissance of martial arts films, and Jean-Claude Van Damme was like definitely one of the top guys, the center of attention that gained a lot of fame with his films. And you know, so many films that I watched in the 90s, even if they weren't that great, I still enjoyed them because they were just different from all the other action stars.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, that's the thing about it. I think I still have to watch a boring tournament martial arts film or like a boring martial arts movie.
And you mentioned it earlier about backstage. I like best of the best, and I was like, we talked the best of the best films.
Yeah.
And I remember like when we decided to talk about it, I was like, man, I used to watch the marathons of all 4 movies, and I enjoyed them for how different they were.
Yeah, you know, just have pizza at home, have like a soft drink, and just watch people fighting, because it's also the wonderful thing, and this is also why I love professional wrestling so much. Fights are usually way better when they're choreographed and worked. And this is also why, I mean, Bloodsport again this year, the wrestling, the GCW like wrestling event. It's just worked shoot fighting is an art form.
Yeah, it's an art form, and you know, one of the things about Kickboxer, it's not particularly tournament based. It's basically, you know, wanting revenge.
Yeah.
Because the story of it is, you know, you got the White Warrior, Kurt Sloan, and his brother, Eric Sloan. Eric Sloan is the very typical American, arrogant, you know, think they're the best and all.
Yeah.
So he flashes his championship like nobody could beat him.
Hey, Kenneth.
What's up, Kenneth? And you know, they tell him, you know, if you go overseas, you know, maybe you could beat some of the top fighters and get more recognition. So it goes to his head that, oh, I could go overseas, beat their asses, and be representative of the greatest champion of all. And he runs into Tong Po, and Tong Po could give 2 shits about his damn title. He ripped the belt in half, which is like, damn, was you a paper champion?
How Hulk Hogan said in New Japan with the WWE title, this is a toy.
that was disrespectful to Bret Hart, man. That's another discussion for another day. But yeah, he ripped the title in half and then breaks his back with an elbow straight to the spine, and that's what leads to what's his name wanting to get revenge and learn Muay Thai.
Yeah, and also the fantastic thing about this movie is you have so many fantastic training shots, like shot straight in Thailand. The rest, of course, like shot in Hong Kong. So you have like the wonderful scenery from Hong Kong, but also the cultural sites from Thailand in there. So this movie immediately also becomes like visually stunning. The training scenes are from like epic to could be a different genre with a different music. Especially the bondage splits. It's like
oh, Van Damme got to get it in there.
Yeah.
He's got to get it in there. And like soon as the scene pops up, like yep, Van Damme got to get it in. I will say that Dennis Chan, that Zhang Chao, amazing. Like he was like his own version of Mr. Miyagi, but better.
Yeah, like basically the rated R Miyagi.
Yeah, and I thought the training sequences was great and how he was trying to prepare him about Muay Thai, and how like my favorite part was pain tolerance. He like holding the air, take the breath, and then withstand the blow. Because that's what Tong Pong was. Like any blow that Eric tried to throw at him, he just no-sold it.
Yeah, I mean, before the first fight, when basically Eric saw like Tong like preparing for the fight against his brother, and he was just kicking the fucking thing that holds the house together. A column. Kicking the fucking column.
And breaking it. Literally.
Yeah. Like literally piece by piece. And
hey, I if I saw that, like what Kurt witnessed, I was like, yeah, don't take this fight, man. Let's go back to America and just live the easy life.
Let's get some lady boys and be out here. Like
he's stupid, man. He's stupid. but
we never saw what was down there with Miley, so who knows?
But seeing that shit is like Rocky witnessing Drago just punch the bag. It's like, Apollo, don't take this fight because even if it's an exhibition, this man's a murderer, bro.
It's like.
But again, it's like this movie does a great job of making these villains feel real powerful. Like how are they going to defeat the villain? And through training, like I said, Zhang Chao was really good at teaching him the art of no tolerance. You got to be able to learn how to tolerate the pain and how to no-sell it. And the part where he was dropping the items on top of his stomach to say, that part is like, you gotta suck it in and take the pain and avoid it.
Like that coconut
it weighs a ton dropping from that.
It's like this is one of the scenes when you're watching it and you like even before the TV like oof.
and I like the first time he said he was ready and then he dropped it. He wasn't ready.
And of course, one other thing is like all this fucking exercising, all these scenes. And you have, of course, the amazing soundtrack by Paul Herzog.
Yeah.
Like this really, this upbeat, like 80s, like heavy metal, something like mixed with a little bit of synth in there. And it's just like, it immediately gets, in the, it's like you basically, the immersion is fully on.
And another thing about the film is the background characters, the ones that are like the shady mob boss who bets on the fights, and the one part that always got to me, like I wanted to see the payoff on it was when the guy asked him for $1 million to put on Tom
so that
and the dude's like, I trust you. But I want to see the repercussions of that.
It would be nice to see a little bit more than just Van Damme just randomly kicking him after the match, like.
Because that's some serious money.
Yeah, some serious money, and I'm pretty sure that the next day, like the kick by Van Damme was the least of his worries if he woke up after this.
Yeah, he'd be like, just kill me now, because if I don't die now, this guy's gonna take me out.
Yeah.
Because I just cost him $1 million in this fight.
And this is $1 million in 80s money, in 80s Thailand economy. That's some serious moolahs there, like.
Yeah, that's half your business gone right there.
Yeah, that's and that's basically, it's like after this match, lost the money and the legitimacy of your champion.
And that's another thing. It's like those shady characters did everything in their power to make sure that Tong Po would win the fight. They kidnapped Eric and told Kurt, "We got your brother. You gonna fight every round, and you're gonna lose." and it's like if you try to win this fight, we're gonna kill your brother.
Yeah.
So automatically within the beginning stages of the fight, Eric is playing at a disadvantage, or currently playing at a disadvantage.
And it's also funny because today people might think that like Kickboxer, like this obscure movie from the late 90s. Everybody knew Kickboxer. And you basically know that a movie is really in the collective mind of every man, every boy back then, when one of the most iconic scenes gets satired in Hot Shots 2 with the glass. With the glue and the glass, and then Hot Shots 2, when Charlie Sheen did it with
I was
the
waiting
gummy bears.
The gummy bears and the M&Ms and all that stuff. I said Hot Shots 2 just parried everything.
Yeah, so it is right at the beginning of Hot Shots 2, like they're starting with the Kickboxer, the joke. So this also shows you like how generally back then, when a movie was hot, it was hot everywhere. And even like behind the Iron Curtain, when there was like tape trading and stuff, what I've heard like from action movie fans in the last years. So everybody our age knew that movie back then and loved it.
Yeah. Now one thing about these films, especially set overseas, is that there's always going to be another American in it. And then you have the character of Winston Taylor, a veteran. And one thing that we learn about Vietnam and stuff is that a lot of guys enjoyed their time over there outside of the war because of the underground of what was going on. And they just stayed over there.
They got the yellow fever.
But they stayed over there. I'm gonna let that slide because they stayed over there and they pretty much set up their own business practice. Because we've seen this in multiple movies, right? They go overseas, they be a part of the war, and then they set up shop over there and just say, you know what, man, I'm treated differently over here, so I'm just gonna stay there and enjoy the luxury of life for what I can. And that's what Winston was in this film. He was a veteran, who already had the establishment there. So he was enjoying the fight of watching Eric get destroyed by Tom Poe.
There's still two fights on the card. Like, come on.
I know, like I'm not leaving. There's still two more fights. But Eric was so beat up that nobody they carried him out the building, dropped him on the floor, and said, "Yeah, he's done."
Yeah. I mean, it's like with ticket prices, just assume like if they had the ticket prices like WWE does now, of course, like crippled or not, like I'm gonna get the best out of my money for those tickets.
But they like, yeah, he's done. We're just gonna drop him on the ground and leave. And like, where the fuck is the ambulance at? Like, we don't give a fuck about that. He's washed up now. We don't care about that.
Yeah, it's
so Winston was there to help get him to the hospital and take care of him.
I mean, Thailand, as beautiful as it is, it's just the yearly reports of the mysterious deaths of some fitness influencers in Thailand, where like a lot of people would assume like foul play. It's like that scene seemed very realistically, like just put him on the streets and like let him be.
Like he's just another casualty in the fight game. And when you look at it, that's how they treat it. Like we're not here to pay an ambulance to take them to the hospital. No, man, this is an underground fight.
Yeah,
that we're not worried about all that. He's just a loser. We're just gonna put him out here and be done. Wash our hands with it.
Yeah, it's like your fault if you worked yourself into a shoot, brother.
Yeah, exactly. Especially Eric is like he was so hyped in his own head that thinking that his title meant something, that he was a great fighter. His nickname was the Eliminator, but he got eliminated. And again, this is the difference between this film and the remake is that the remake they literally killed the brother. Like he got killed by Tong Po. You know, this one he just got his spine broken.
But Batista ain't playing.
Batista wasn't playing. He's like, man, I'm not gonna do the JOB to this guy. So he died in the remake. And that's what fueled Eric in that film, or Kurt, to get vengeance. But in a different way, because he was going to shoot Tong Po in the remake. And again, we got to talk the remakes on their own. You know, and then when we talk the remake, then we can do the more of a comparison to the original.
Yes.
But in this one, Eric just got his spine broken. And then end up getting captured later just to use as leverage for Kurt to take the fall.
Yeah.
But you know, they underestimated Winston and they underestimated Zhang Chao.
Yeah, that rescue mission. In general, I think that the finale was very well scripted, very well done. Of course, even though that the writer like Lettich, who was basically Van Damme's house writer, didn't see eye to eye with the director. So on the script, but I still think that it was very well adapted, and I think they made like some changes. I think the original script before, I think Lettich worked over it, was not that his brother got killed, but that Tong Po was killing his mother.
Well, they really made Tong Po, you know, to be extra villainous when you know he took the girl and you know did things to her.
My Lee, good fuck.
And it's like that like changed everything for Kurt. And then when his brother got saved, then he started to hulk up, brother.
Yeah, and then it was. And
because one glaring trope that's in most Van Damme films, he's always gonna get his ass whooped at the start.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna hulk up and act like all the beating that he took the first couple rounds just completely didn't mean nothing.
He slows down. Yeah, he slows down the time, and then when it happens. And especially like in this movie, it's like basically when he's like slapping him with his kicks, like
boom. But one thing I paid attention to in the remake, I was like, it's a Van Damme trait. When he does that roundhouse kick, you got to at least get 4 cuts of the same kick.
Yeah.
All in one shot. And they did it in the remake. I like, see, it's a Van Damme trademark.
Because that's the good thing about the remake, and we're gonna of course talk more about it when we're gonna talk the remake and the sequel to it. Is you can really feel that it came from a place of love. That it not just we're gonna remake Kickboxer. Now you can really see that everybody had fun and they wanted to pay tribute to the original.
Especially the dance scene.
Yeah, that was like I absolutely love the end credits.
But yeah, they definitely paid a lot of homage and love to the original.
Yeah.
But again, it's like I expect all the Van Damme tropes in the films, and when you see the multiple cuts of one kick,
yeah, then you know it's on, brother.
Yeah, it's like a 4-hit combo, but it's the same kick.
Yeah, and the only thing that your opponent, like the only thing that Tong Po can say is like, "Oh, you got me, brother.
You got me.
Call my wife and kids." Like,
and like I said, once he hulked up, it was over for Tong Po because, like I said, he was destroying Kurt. And once his brother got freed and his brother sort of like, yeah, kick his ass, that's when all bets was. He told Homegirl to cut off the glass covered protecting.
Finish it,
Like,
man.
yeah, I don't need this shit no
Yeah.
more. I'm gonna go all out. I'm gonna beat the fuck out of this guy. So take this off, and I'm gonna show him what a real champion is.
It's also great how fast all the glass cuts healed on Van Damme. Like
I said, hey, when he goes into Van Damme mode, all the injuries that he had prior to it are healed up. It's like he never even suffered it.
See, that's the reason why he got recast as the Predator. Because it wouldn't have been fair.
Even the no-soul Arnie and the rest of those guys, they're like, I'm the Predator, man. I'm gonna kill all y'all. But yeah, they had to recast him, and again, another actor, the guy who played the Predator. I've been watching this recent show that he was a part of in the 80s, and it's good to see how versatile he was as an actor.
Yeah,
and it's a shame that he passed away so early. Way too
soon. And it really, and especially with Alien vs Predator, it really showed that when they were casting like all the huge bulky dudes as a Predator, it just looked wrong. It's like you really need to get somebody who is like tall and slim as the Predator, because you get the bulkiness from the costume anyway.
What the fuck did you think of that recent Predator reveal of the face?
I don't know what I heard that they used like regular effects, like that they used prosthetics, but it looks so fucking CGI. It looks so fake.
It just looks off.
It looks off, yeah. It's like it's
not the first thing that came to my mind was the Arnie quote. You are one
ugly motherfucker.
And it's like, y'all made the Predator even more uglier than the original look.
Yeah. I think the trailer was not that bad per se. I think it can be an entertaining movie. I still think they should give the Predator the Sonic treatment and just redo all like the visuals with the Predator. But otherwise, I was watching it and I was like, I think it's like the same director who did Prey.
I think it is.
Trachtenberg, yeah. I just recently rewatched Prey. It's a decent movie. Of course, you have to watch it like in the original native language, because the English translation, the English dubbing is not that good. So I think it gains a lot. If you watch it in native language. So I think you can do like a decent Predator movie, and we'll see. It's like like these days always hard to say. It's like a trailer can look shit and the movie is great. A trailer can look great and the movie is shit. Like who knows at this point? But it's most certainly a movie that I'm gonna give a chance.
We'll see. Because like I said, I didn't watch the trailer, but all I saw was those damn internet photos of the Predator.
I think if you watch a trailer, I think it's one of these things when there's like a still of it. It's basically you're highlighting everything that's wrong, like with that.
But that picture just stands out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, I mean,
I get that they're trying to like have a new look for the Predator, because they don't want to stick with what made it work.
Yeah.
They want to do something different, but at the same time, it just looks so weird.
And we are like, of course, I think we are like very, very close to Alien vs Predator, another one.
We'll see.
Just adapt the fucking comics. Like
they won't do it. I don't know why they don't want to look at what the comics did and say, pull from this, turn it into a movie and say this is going to be what we go off of. But no, they say we're going to do our own thing. We're going to come up with these crappy scripts and say, all right, it's a popcorn action flick. So nobody cares about what these comics did.
Yeah, and this is like also why I'm very chill, because nobody can take the Dark Horse continuity away from me.
No,
got those babies in different trades. It's like you can't destroy my timeline, and by the gods, you tried. But also, nothing can be worse than the Predator. Like,
hey, we'll always have the 87 and 90 films.
Yes.
To be honest, like
yeah,
those are the only two Predator movies that I can consistently go back and watch.
And that's a good thing about ladies. And we got the Kickboxer. So
yeah,
that's that.
And like I said, Kickboxer will always, stand the test of time. People could look back at it and say it's cheesy and all that stuff, but that's what make these movies hold up. They still have a charm about them. They still have the good martial arts action, and it's just overall fun movies that you could just sit back, relax, and say, I'm gonna watch Van Damme kick some ass.
And they have a lot of heart. I always enjoy it too.
Yeah. So you cannot take away that. And this is what modern action films lack. So back in the days, we had a variety of action, whether it's kung fu action, whether it's like guns blazing action. We had a variety of it. And the variety of action stars that did martial arts, the Chuck Norrises, the Jean-Claude Van Damme, the Billy Blanks, and Don the Dragon Wilson. I still want to watch the movie with what's his name? Passed away. The Street Fighter.
Yeah.
I still want to watch the movie he did with Roddy Piper. And it's like, man, there was so many films. I remember Don the Dragon Wilson did the movie with Roddy Piper.
We gotta talk more Roddy Piper.
Yeah, Roddy Piper. I watched a lot of Roddy Piper films that was not They Live and Hell Comes to Frog Town, because he did a lot of films, with Billy Blanks and all those guys.
Yeah, the one with T.T. Wilson is like that one is a really kick-ass cover, as I remember. I have to check if there's still the DVD available. But yeah, we gotta talk some Roddy Piper.
So there was a lot of films that got played on TV that I enjoyed, and those were like just nice B-movie action flicks.
So, and there's a reason why people, not only us, a lot of people are still talking about those today. And because also, the film star per se, that I do have to say. Have you seen the Smashing Machine trailer?
Oh, the Rock looks so weird.
I absolutely love it.
I will give him benefit of the doubt. For him to go all out to change his whole look, to try and be accurately close.
But let's be honest, is who except for people our age actually really know how Mark Kerr looked?
Nobody today. No, you probably could bring up Mark Kerr and people be like, who?
Yeah, exactly. Even like within the martial arts community, like Mark Kerr, like for a lot of new fans, basically, they totally missed out on this time period. And the great thing about the trailer is so many things remind me of the Smashing Machine documentary that came out back in the day.
Now, if they're really going based off the documentary, like
it really looks like it.
Like I said, I'm not gonna go to the theaters to see it, but
I'm pretty sure they're gonna
and watching it when it releases on stream and or whatnot. I'll definitely check it out because I want to see what The Rock can do.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they're not gonna show it at cinemas here, so I have to wait for the direct to video thing. But I think because there's like 2 things. Either it's gonna be a really nice representation of somebody's legacy, or it's gonna be absolutely fucking bonkers.
It's either or.
Yeah, so it's
either or. And some people are saying, like, this is The Rock trying to get an Oscar moment, with him doing this film. And I'm like, even with him trying, I don't think the Oscars are going to acknowledge him at all. It's the fucking Oscars. Nobody cares about the Oscars.
Exactly. And if people say that a movie about the smashing machine, Mark Curry's Oscar bait, what is like? Then I'm gonna do like.
But then again, remember when The Wrestler came out and how that got praise and shit like that with Mickey Rourke.
But it was different because
I know it's different, but it's still like people always look down at wrestling.
I know,
but this movie, gave it some life that people like. Oh, this movie was great. It was fantastic. And I've watched that movie once. I cannot watch it again because it's kind of like this low, depressing film that is like.
I mean to see it. I mean, it's like the same director did Requiem for a Dream, so you're not expecting
it's like
an optimistic barn burner.
Hey, I tune in for the wrestling, but now it's getting a little too real here.
Like at least it was like no S2S action.
Hey, let's do a movie based on Sabu's life and show all the grittiness and all the shit he put himself through.
I mean, that would actually. I mean, it's still. I think it's still such a shame that we probably won't get like the Hulk Hogan biopic.
Too many lies, man.
But that's a cool thing. You could. I mean, you could make it so many crazy things, and the thing is like
they literally gonna have him wrestle 400 times in a single year, 400 days.
I mean, you can even cast Benjamin Shelton for it.
Hey, who's this up and coming Benjamin Shelton? He's a future world champ. You know that Benjamin Shelton guy.
I heard he's fantastic on the mic.
He's fantastic on the mic. I heard his wrestling is elite. Yeah. Somebody get Benjamin Shelton the world title shot. Yeah. Oh my god, man! I swear, Hulk Hogan always find ways to get his name out there in the headlines.
I got Brock Lesnar, brother, straight out of the UFC.
Straight out of the UFC, not straight out of OVW. Straight out of the UFC. So you mean to tell me that match way back in 2002 was fresh out of Brock Lesnar out of the UFC back when he fought Tank Abbott and them guys?
Have you seen Tank Abbott these days?
No. Do I want to see?
He looks like a fucking dandy. Like he was like backstage at Bloodsport, and he came out and he had like a dandy hipster look, and it really suited him. It was like really like. Damn! Like what the fuck?
But did he do his 3-count dance?
Did he? I don't remember.
Gotta come out to 3-count and dance.
Yeah. But damn, yeah. And that's like the cool thing is like if you make like a Hulk Hogan movie, it gives him so much. You can put like all the fake stuff in it and gives Hulk Hogan more fake stuff to tell if it was real.
Like how extremely tall he was over Rocky when he was standing on pads to make him taller. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, Smashing Machine, I have a faint interest in, but I will wait to see it. First of all, I'm just going to see if people are going to slaughter it in the reviews. But again, I'm still going to give it my own opinion.
Exactly. Like I'm not trusting those reviews, especially with movies about martial arts or wrestling, etc. Like I said, like the Von Erich movie was amazing.
But I would love to see a biopic on Randy Couture.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that one can even have a fucking happy end because he's doing.
One thing about Randy Couture is he tried a lot of times to make the Olympic team and he didn't. But you know, mixed martial arts really gave him the career that he needed, and he became a legend because of it. And of course, the man had to. He defeated the man that you hate the most, Stone Cold Steve Austin, in the first Expendables. Ain't like, yo, if Randy Couture was in the Attitude Era, Stone Cold wouldn't stand a chance.
Which still is one of like the CGI was so bad. I saw some fun. I really dislike the Expendable movies.
They're over the top without the grittiness of the old action films.
Yeah, and they're too self-referential, and I'm not a fan of self-referential.
And I didn't like Jet Li's appearances in them because I felt like he was just there.
Yeah, it's yeah. Maybe we're gonna talk about the Expendable movies one day.
And I still haven't watched the last few Expendables because I'm like,
I watched the last one on a streaming service because it was for free included and it was so boring.
Yeah,
I couldn't even say it was so boring. Like go ahead. Like the first three are watchable. Forget the fucking rest.
I didn't even watch the third one though. To be honest, like the second one was good, but my dislike of the second one comes from how Van Damme was treated. Even as a villain, I thought he was good as a villain, but then I felt like at the end, it's like he really didn't feel that big as a villain.
The best parts about two are actually Wesley Snipes and Van Damme.
I thought Wesley was in the third.
Was the second? Oh yeah, then it was the best thing about the third one. Yeah. I'm already mixing up those movies in my head.
Because the second one, I remember the big talk on the second Expendables was when Chuck Norris was in it, and he was like, "Oh, I don't want blood in the film and stuff like that." And they like, "Oh, now we gotta change the movie to make it PG-13, and then add the rated R version post production."
Yeah, come on, like yeah.
But you know, it's Chuck Norris. I mean, if you look at Chuck Norris wrong, he'll kill you with just a blink of an eye.
I mean, there was rumors that Chuck Norris should have played like Van Damme's brother in the Kickboxer. But who?
Go ahead.
Yeah, but then it would have been a very short movie.
It's funny, like when you think about the Expendables and how you got all those big '80s action stars in there, and like the crossover appeal that they had in the '80s and '90s would have been interesting. You know, that's what made Demolition Man stand out. It was Snipes versus Stallone.
Yeah,
you know, two big action stars at the time, and it's like, man, just imagine if we had an Arnold Schwarzenegger film with Wesley Snipes together, and the dynamics. You know, like there's always like the what ifs. You know, what if, you know, we got more Stallone and Dolph Lundgren in films together. You know, and just you could throw in Jackie Chan and Jet Li. The possibilities are endless when it comes to action combinations.
But yeah, are you looking forward to Backlash tomorrow?
No.
The card is so boring.
Like I said, I'm not.
Yeah, it's luckily there's some good GCW events coming. But yeah, Triple H believed a little bit too much of his own hype, and then of course it's gonna be very fun, like how the Rock Triple H backstage rivalry will work. I think that's actually more interesting than the actual wrestling currently is, like how is the Rock gonna fuck up Triple H's booking?
Mark my words, next year's WrestleMania is gonna be Rock versus Triple H for control of the WWE.
Yeah.
and TKO will have an interest in that match because it's like whoever wins this match get complete control over creative.
I still, I know a lot of people say it's gonna be impossible. I still am not 100% out of believing that Vince is gonna take it back.
Vince is gonna come out of nowhere and interfere in the match.
Yeah.
It's gonna say the genetic grapefruits are back.
And let's be honest, like, it's those cards need a little bit of Vince booking, because it's just like I don't want to watch like a fucking 3-hour show where 1 hour are advertisements between matches.
The advertisements kills the product.
Yeah, and even like I love Drew McIntyre. I can't take him serious when he comes out as a Doomslayer. Like,
and again, like I was watching a couple Cornette videos, and I've been re-listening to his omnibuses on the 80s wrestling.
Yeah.
And it reaffirmed something that he said, reaffirmed what I thought about Damian Priest. Is like, these guys, they're good, solid hands, but they're not true main events.
They're not drawing. It's like it's
something really... about Damian Priest. Is like, he's decent on the mic. He can cut promo, but he's bland as a character. And it's like, I just don't really get the appeal of it. I know he was Punishment Martinez on the independent scenes and stuff, but I feel like if you look at him, he's like, he could be a part of Vampiro's crew of the WCW, and he will fit in perfectly because he looks like that type that can just put face paint on.
Vampiro rocks.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, he looks like he fits the carnivals, you know, the ICP, you know, or the Insane Clown Posse. He just looked like he fits in that group of Dark Carnival.
Yeah. I mean, even like, it's just, I think that WWE's was teasing so much edge, and now they're lacking like the edge.
Edge lacks the edge himself right now in AEW. So but like I said, it's hard to replicate what was successful back in the day.
Yeah. However, I also need to say that I think WWE needs actually like a little fall from grace, especially with the prices of everything.
I will say that I'm enjoying this version of Trick Williams, him going to TNA and just being a fucking asshole and stuff. I like, this is the Trick that I can get behind.
Yeah,
he's just crashing out everywhere.
He needed that heel turn. He needed it sorely. NXT so fun. Like NXT is the only WWE product that I'm watching on a weekly basis.
Stephanie McCurr, Jordan Grace, Julia.
And I personally loved the picture like of Booker and Queen Jamel at the Hall of Fame, and somebody in the comments, somebody in the comments was writing, "Don't tell her about his job in NXT." The devil's kiss from McCare.
Straight up, Booker T is making that shit entertaining, but at the same time over the top.
Yeah.
But I even liked the video they made together, him and Stephanie. You know, it was funny.
Booker is so essential for NXT. Like,
and plus he has his own reality of wrestling stuff that's going. So he automatically has a pipeline for his talent to go to NXT.
Yeah, I think the commentator too. I think Corey also works perfect at NXT. Mm-hmm. I always was a big fan of his commentary. I mean, everything that is not the Pat McAfee is good.
That makes me want Pat McAfee gone, because I never really
cared. Let's just say that I wish Pat McAfee would face Walter and not Gunther tomorrow.
I just want Gunther to destroy him and send him packing.
Yeah, but like, Walter would fucking kill him.
Either way, man, I'm just not interested in Backlash. I hope you enjoy it, man, and if you watch it, but
I have no idea if I'm gonna watch it.
Enjoy that Jay Uso versus Logan Paul match.
That's not on the card. That's I think they're gonna keep that for Saturday Night's main event. It's already it's Jay Uso already in the mid card with the title.
Either way, man, that's just he's a mid card champion.
He is. He immediately Dominic Mysterio is more over as the Intercontinental Champion.
Bro,
I said,
how many times you watched that Dominic Mysterio Scott Steiner video?
a lot.
I want to see Scott Steiner come back and give it to Dominic just for that interaction.
And I called it. I said Dominic not only gonna win the Intercontinental Champion, but the crowd is gonna cheer. Yeah, I said it.
We both predicted it. And I was like, I know Dom's gonna win this match. And it was different from how I brought up the scenario, but it was damn near close.
Yeah, and that's a funny thing actually, that the second night was actually starting really good, and then you just
it started strong.
Yeah.
Those first couple matches on the second night was pretty good. And then the second half was just nosedive.
It's just...
That AJ Logan Paul match went way too long for that match.
And it's such a pity. It's such a pity that one of the greatest performers, one of the greatest in-ring performers of all time, has a lot of the WrestleMania appearances, but his weakest matches are WrestleMania from AJ Styles.
It just sucks that they decided to just put Logan Paul over him, and it's like, man, we're getting down to the near the end of AJ's career.
Yeah,
I wanted him just to get at least another WrestleMania win, especially over a guy that's not even full time. And that's one of my biggest problems, is that too many part-timers and them catering to these fucking mainstream acts like Travis fucking Scott. Good Lord. Why? And I like The Rock's explanation just made no fucking sense. Like, yeah, just put Travis Scott there. Why?
You know how little Travis Scott is over?
He's not even over.
He's like not over, exactly. He doesn't even has his own rap chips.
I mean, shit, I'd rather listen to the German rap that you send me than ever listen to Travis Scott. And I know Germany got some legit rappers out there, that respect hip hop for what it is. Not this fucking goof.
Yeah. It's and the thing is, like, who cares about Travis Scott? Like, does he even get... I mean, there's no more pay-per-view buys, but does he get any subscription? Like, does one person out there subscribe to Netflix watching WWE, or to Peacock, or to the network? Luckily, I still have the network until next year. Like, does anybody subscribe to it because of Travis Scott? Does he make one fucking buck for WWE?
Nope. Nobody.
Jeff Jarrett can't break enough guitars.
Bro! I saw a recent photo. Jeff Jarrett backstage at AEW with the alpha male Monty Brown. And in my mind, I like, give Jeff Jarrett a pounce for old time's sake, for him not putting the NWA title on you, man. Monty Brown was the man. He was the man. And they fucking derailed him.
Yeah, talking about like a Reign of Doom with Triple H, like,
yeah, Jeff Jarrett. God Lord.
Jeff Jarrett and TNA, like
he broke 100 guitars. Ain't still draw it down.
Exactly. Good old Graham.
It sucked, man. And Monty still looks great. I'm like, man, this guy, he still looks pretty solid. Like, he could just jump in the ring and give somebody a pounce, do his little dance, And I'm like, man, I'll be just hyped. I mean, fucking Rhino appeared on AEW this past week.
And Rhino is busy these days. Like also like at NW, he's gonna have like an NWA title match at the Crockett Cup.
Yeah, Rhino's still doing his thing. I'm like, Monty, I just want Monty to come out there and give somebody a pounce, man, just to make me feel happy that like Monty Brown is still feel important because he was that big in TNA and they dropped the ball on him.
They dropped the ball a lot about it. I mean, once again, it's the same. They say the good old Millionaires Club, like old.
The main event mafia and all that shit, man. But yeah, man, WrestleMania is what it is. And again, speaking of The Rock, I did tell you this, and you the one that brought it up and had me like, man, you want me to turn heel just out of favor for The Rock? But yes, next week we're gonna talk a film that I used to watch a lot when it first dropped. And matter of fact, I still wasn't happy with the heel turn at the end of The Mummy Returns. That CGI.
Yeah, that's PlayStation 2 graphics.
I was like, what the fuck? I tuned in to see The Rock in this film, and you only see him at the beginning, and then you see CGI Rock at the end. So now we're gonna talk the Scorpion King next week. Just the first one.
Yeah. I do have to say that I watched The Mummy 2, of course, I was like in cinemas back day. The Rock got a pop in the cinema. Yeah.
And that was it. You talking about the later scene or the beginning?
The beginning, like.
Okay, that's the beginning. It mattered because when he came out as the little scorpion CGI,
yeah,
my brain was melting inside because I was like, "What the fuck is this shit?" I want the whole movie. We waiting to see the Scorpion King.
And then, like,
we got this shit at the end.
This abomination.
So like, I walked out in disgust.
But I was very pleased when the Scorpion King came out because it was like a nice throwback of sword and sorcery. You have like Ralph Möller in there, like as a henchman.
Yeah, in fact, I've been watching the Conan the Adventure show recently.
It's
not the ideal Conan we want to see.
It's basically for being a Hercules ripoff. It's good for being that.
It fit that time period when all those shows were active. Robin Hood, Sinbad,
Connor the Celt.
Yeah, you could tell when you watch that show, like all those shows could have crossed over into one big movie.
Yeah,
and they would have fitted perfectly in because they all felt almost the same.
The best thing about the Conan series is all the cameos you get. Like Vernon Wells is like in there, Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah, I just watched the Lou Ferrigno episode.
Yeah, so you get a lot of cameos like from action stars and fantasy stars. So that's like a treat.
Every time though, it's like, man, I just want an authentic Conan that's true to the Robert E. Howard stories, that's true to what we read in the comic books, the brutality, and if we got a legit TV series that showcased that, I would be happy.
Yeah,
I don't think we'll ever get that.
I don't think either. But the good thing is we can read.
That's it. You can always read.
Yeah.
But yeah, next week we're gonna talk the Scorpion King.
Woo!
And then after that we'll come up with something, man. I'm hoping that we can still maybe do some Dolph Lundgren. Maybe I Come in Peace, since that's on YouTube. And we'll go from there.
Yeah, we'll sure can fit some Dolph Lundgren in there.
Also, I do have a recent short video on my channel where we went to Flashpoint Comics. It's a short video, about 3.5 minutes.
We're gonna watch it.
But I hung out with the fellas on Free Comic Book Day, and I did get the Conan free comic book. So we had a great time.
Yeah, mine should arrive next week with my regular order.
Nice. And I definitely gotta check in stock trades to see the recent stuff to pick up. Because I read the Conan trades, and I'm enjoying the current series.
The Titan run is great. I think on the 17th, Gary and I will interview Jim Sub.
Oh, nice. I'm looking forward to that. That's gonna be awesome.
I have to ask Gary if it's still on, but I think should be on the 17th.
Yeah, and currently we've been on a hiatus on the Comic Con crew, but eventually we'll get back to doing things. And other than that, we'll be back next week. And
it's the after WrestleMania cooldown. It
is, and I'll talk backstage about certain things that's happening.
Yeah. But
other than that, thanks to whoever showed up outside of Kenneth. He was the only one that commented, but we appreciate that. And we had a couple people viewing the show. But we always appreciate when you guys tune in to watch us ramble and talk about these movies and stuff. And we'll see y'all next week. Have a great weekend, y'all. Peace out.